And the teachers there were just really outstanding. I don't think then we realized how outstanding they were, but they certainly impacted our lives. Lovey, my turn. Thank you for the introduction. We do go back a long way. We were friends and have known each other for many years. As she said, since kindergarten and all the way through Talladega College. And we were very close friends at Lakeside. So it's very meaningful to me that you gave the introduction. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Adolphus, Lester, Floyd, and Shirley for arranging this special reunion. And it is special because it commemorates 50 years since the closing of Lakeside. I want to thank you for organizing it, making all the arrangements and hosting it, because I know this was not an easy task to do. But you have done it well, and we really appreciate that, don't we? Let's give it a Thank you. Well, today, I feel as though I have come full circle. Starting in Decatur in kindergarten and going on to Cherry Street School, to Lakeside High School, and after Lakeside, Talladega, and from Talladega on to Peabody as a student, from Peabody on to the State University of New York as a professor, and then to the University of Michigan as a student, to the Savannah State College University as a professor, University of Tennessee as a professor, and now back home in Decatur. And believe me, it is good to be home.
Amen.
Amen. Because I'm here, I'm able to see friends, I'm able to see classmates, and that's really important to me because those are the people that last a lifetime. As you listen to Lovey's introduction, the one thing that I expected her to say, which she did not say, was my nickname. It's Kobe. When I was born, my dad named me Pooby, primarily because it was easy for him to say, but there was another reason. And it didn't matter how many countries I traveled to, how many states where I presented workshops, or how many books. That wasn't important to him. I was still Pooby to him. And I appreciate that. I think the reason he did that was to keep me grounded. You know, to him, I needed to see myself as being important, but not more important than anybody else. He always supported being appreciative of the opportunities that the Lord had presented to me to follow a career, but never to think more highly of oneself than you should. And you can find that was scriptural. You can find that in Romans 12:3. The commemoration of the 50 years since the closing of Lakeside, I'd like to take you down memory lane and recount some of the joys, the challenges, the successes that we experienced during our time there, and reflect on those teachers and how they impacted our lives. What I say will not be new to you, but I hope that it will serve as a reminder of the treasure, the real treasure that we had in Lakeside. It was a gift to us. And the special people we encountered along the way and connections we made that resulted in acquiring friends, family, and community that will last a lifetime. Looking back on our time at Lakeside, one of the guiding fundamentals that was infected in us and infused in us was to be proud of who we are and to act like it. This was really important because at the time, when we stepped outside our community, outside on the other side, there were those forces at work that tried to tell us otherwise. And not only did they tell us that, they showed us how they really felt about us. At the time, often, we didn't appreciate what the teachers were trying to instill in us because of how it was presented to us, sometimes in the form of correction. Okay, now, how many of you recall being in school and being somewhere where you weren't supposed to be?
Never.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of memory lane, and a teacher would come to you and tell you to go to your place and to go immediately. I specifically remember one of my favorite teachers saying to students in the hall, "Baby, where are you supposed to be? You didn't come here to play. You came here to learn and make something of yourself, so get to your class." And I can see that person vividly right now. Can you guess who that was?
Oh, Brigham.
Who?
Brigham.
Miss Summers.
Miss Summers.
That's what I had in
I
mind.
think we can see her right now. Yeah.
Mrs. Summers.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you that Mrs. Summers' words helped me through my doctoral program at the University of Michigan, believe it or not. And I'll tell you how. For one of my final exams, I was put in a room and I was set at a table and there were 20 pieces of music that were put in front of me. And I was supposed to tell, there were no titles. I was supposed to tell what period they came from, who the composer was, all of this stuff. And when I sat down and saw all that music, I literally shook for 10 minutes. Because I had no idea what I was doing or how I was gonna pass that test. And believe it or not, Mrs. Summers' words came back to me. "Baby, you didn't come here to fail. You came here to pass this test, so take it." And I just braced myself up, and I eventually got everything right, and I passed that test. And I said, "Thank you, Ms. Summers." And I'm sure that there were instances where you also experienced things where these voices came to you and reminded you of what to do or how important what you were doing was to you and your community. The closing of Lakeside was bittersweet. Bitter in that we lost a place that was safe, familiar, and where teachers really cared about our academic achievement and our socialization. That is, knowing how to get along with each other. They also assisted in developing our skills and our different gifts. And for me, that was choir with Mr. Jackson, who was responsible really for me starting out on a career in music. And I'm sure you can think of teachers who impacted your life that way as well. Regardless of the skills and gifts that were developed, there were underlying principles that they taught us. And those principles were discipline, responsibility, and respect. Respect for yourself and respect for others. In addition, Lakeside supported our religious beliefs, which at the time was Christian. How many of you remember having devotion before the day began? And did it make a difference? Yes, it did make a difference. I remember a song, a prayer, and then there were other things we did before we started the day. And that is no longer the case. It's a thing of the past, unfortunately. Lakeside also was our so-called hub for social activity, for sports events, for choral and band concerts, and preparation for the marching band parade, for dances, and for movies in the auditorium,
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, as our theme reflects, Lakeside was a place where, number one, we developed and maintained friendships, where we sustained a sense of community, a feeling of fellowship with each other, for we had similar interests, attitudes, and goals. And thirdly, it was a place where we distinguished ourselves as a family. Case in point, when we were outside of the school or in a community or at a local, state, or regional function, we were Lakeside. And that meant something. It had meaning. We had that family feeling, and we were always excellent in everything we did. The closing was sweet, if you want to think of it that way, in that we were challenged to learn, to survive, to thrive, and excel in an unfamiliar environment that many times did not approach teaching, learning, and motivating in a manner that we were accustomed to. We were challenged to interact with those who were different from us in their looks, their thoughts, and behavior. Our presence, however, caused those who were unlike us to really see us as who we are, who God made us to be. And that was intelligent, smart, talented, creative, athletic, sociable, and yes, good looking.
Amen.
So after 50 years since Lakeside closed, what is there that remains? What is its legacy? As I walk through the halls of Lakeside today, I hardly recognize any of the old Lakeside that existed when I was in school. And I began to feel very sad about that. And then I remembered that Lakeside was not just a physical facility,
Amen.
but it was what was inside of us and what we carried with us as its legacy. It is all of us, its sons and daughters, who have gone on and to develop many professional and skilled careers, who have become community leaders, pastors, politicians, educators, and the like, just any number of careers. And we, I believe, have represented Lakeside well. And most of all, we have gone on to be parents. Parents who have preserved the memory of Lakeside by passing on to their children those values that were instilled in them when they were in school. I believe the words of our alma mater expresses the legacy of Lakeside that we can all be proud of. I don't know about you, but when I sing the alma mater, I'm not really listening to the words or thinking about the words. I'm basically trying to get the tune right. You know? And those words that get all mixed up. But I'd like for us to really pay attention to the words because it truly represents what Lakeside is and should be to us. So if you'll turn to the back of your program, and let's just read the words to the alma mater and think about what it actually means to you.
You see, we had a problem with that.
Do you have it?
No, I have not even.
Okay, some do. I'll just read along. You can read along with me.
Amen.
Lakeside, Lakeside, alma mater, will be true to thee. We'll remember all thy teaching by the Tennessee. Years of wholesome living, learning, all within your walls. You have played your part to help us answer duty's call. Lakeside, Lakeside, alma mater, how we love thy nature. Glad to be your sons and daughters. Hope we'll bring you fame. Lakeside, Lakeside, dear old Lakeside. Queen you'll always be. Loyal, loving, ever faithful is our pledge to thee. Thank you all so much, and God bless you all.
What a wonderful tribute, what a wonderful word. Always admired Dr. Moore Marlene. Her mother was my fifth grade teacher as well. But I did check with her and love it, and they were on TV.
Yeah.